Today we are going to analyze this topic, why taxi business in Kenya does not make sense. Okay, so I know a lot of people have had a lot of controversies around taxi business. That is the ride-hailing taxi operators, so Bolt, Uber, Litrocab, Faras na kila wengine. And in this video, we are just going to discuss two topics as to why taxi business does not make sense. So I mean two reasons as to why taxi business in Kenya does not make sense. And why I say it does not make sense does not mean it is not profitable or it is profitable. Simply why it does not make sense, it is because we cannot come into a common conclusion. And that's why I am saying it does not make sense, because there are so many things that are done in a way that is not harmonized in a way that is, does not make sense completely. And the first reason is this one. Okay, I'm going to speak about, first of all, the cars. Okay, the cars that are used in this ride hailing, and I want to focus on the small cars. So these are the ones that are used in the lowest category. You will find that someone will buy a car worth, let's say for example, an Alto, which is a Suzuki. A person will go and buy it for 700k and put it into Uber. Another person is going to buy a Mazda Demio, okay, or a Honda Fit for 1.4 million. You get my point? So someone has spent 2 times what the other person has spent, and they have put those 2 cars on the same platform. As it is right now, these vehicles, Alto, Demio, Fit, they are recognized to belong to the lowest categories. When it comes to Uber, they will be at a chap, okay? When it comes to Bolt, it will be Bolt Economy, okay? So these are the lowest categories, and they will charge, let's say, for the smallest trip of, let's say, 4 kilometers. These ones, they will be paid around 200 shillings per trip of 4 kilometers. But now when it comes to bigger trips or longer trips, they could be paid any other amount. But the reality is that 2 vehicles costing 2 times the amount of the other, but when it comes to them being on the platform, they will be paid 200 shillings per trip. What do you think about that? For me, it does not make sense. There surely must be a differentiation. If someone is putting a Demio worth 1.4 million or a Honda Fit worth 1.4 million, I don't think that it is fair for these kind of vehicles to carry the same people and be paid the same amount of money like someone who invested 700,000 and bought an Alto. I know some of you could say, why do the Demio guys and the Honda Fit guys not just buy an Alto and put it into the platform so that they would complain? Because in this case, you'll find people with these vehicles, bigger vehicles, they don't feel appreciated for the level of comfort they give to their client, the convenience, the power, A Demio is not like an Alto for sure. But what do you say about that? So that is the first case that to me makes the whole business not to make sense. We are going to analyze the second one. So stay there as I clean my board. All right, so we have spoken about the type of vehicle and how much it costs. The second one is what I call the partner-driver relationship. Okay? Partner normally is the owner of the car, and the driver is the employee. Okay? So when people buy vehicles, like myself, I have bought a vehicle, I have given to a driver. You will find that, for example, I take the Alto that we spoke about. Okay? Someone will buy an Alto and give to a driver and ask for daily payment of 2,000 shillings per day. Okay? Another partner will buy the same car and ask for 1,500 shillings per day. Another one for the same car will ask for 1,000 per day. I don't know whether you are getting my point. You will find all these people operating on Uber, on Bolt, but for the same vehicle, people are asking for very, very different amount of money from their drivers. And you know, these drivers will meet on the roads. What are they going to discuss? You get my point? That's why when I bring people on my platform, I always try to ask them, what amount of money do you give to your partner, so that I can understand the background of their motivation, the background of their attitude, to see whether they fall under these categories. So, and I also want to discuss something else, also about driver-partner relationship, because there I have spoken about a Suzuki Alto. But ideally, you will find that money being asked from drivers, especially drivers of these small cars. I want to address vehicles below 1300 cc. You know, these are the chap and the Bolt economy category. A lot of all these drivers will be asked between 2,300, okay, per day. In case of the small electric vehicles, we have seen that drivers are being asked all the way from 2,300 shillings per day, while others are being asked just for 600 shillings per day. Okay? Normally this is for the electric cars, and this is for, I would say, for the 1300 cc cars that are old. So if, let's say, you have a Mazda Demio that is a 1300 cc, and it is, let's say, a 2012 model, already it has lost fuel efficiency, or a Nissan Note, a 1200 cc 2012 model, a lot of them people will tend to ask for something, no, not 6,000, 600. They will tend to ask around 600 shillings per day, because already that vehicle is no longer fuel efficient. From time to time, it will require to go to the garage for repairs and spares. So tell me, why all this difference? These people are operating under the same conditions, they are serving the same client, but some will pay, like, this almost, how much? What is the difference here? The difference here is around 1,800. One person is paying almost 3 times the other person. What would you expect when you speak to these drivers? And that's why I told you, never take the story of one driver to be your final story. Understand the nitty-gritties behind the vehicle he is driving, his relationship with the partner. And remember also, these partners, some of them have taken loans, so they are asking for the maximum amount of money to repay their loans to enable them to break even. But others already are operating their own vehicles that they have bought with cash. So this is what I suggest, so that I don't leave you guys hanging and anyone wanting to enter into the business. So this is my suggestion. Oh, sorry, my board is falling, but yeah, let me balance it. Okay, so this is what I suggest. All right, there is already an association of online taxi drivers in Kenya. I am not an active member. I've never met any one of them. But I think this is the time to just rethink how to standardize things in the market. Let's say, for example, we, like, people in that association of taxi drivers, they need to just standardize and say the recommended amount of money that a partner should ask from a driver should be between 1,000 to 1,500 cc, to 1,000 to 1,500 shillings per day. Okay, they should give guidelines, or somebody, some out there, or myself, I'm giving these guidelines. For a vehicle of any size operating under the upper chap or the lowest category, this is the recommended amount of money. By doing so, you will create a long-term partnership with your driver. He will not look to leave you anytime he gets a better vehicle or a better opportunity. And then I would say, what will determine whether you ask for 1,000 or 1,500 will depend on the cc of the car, will also depend on the age. Okay, because older vehicles definitely don't have efficiencies. And then we also need to agree and also lobby with these companies, the Uber and the rest, that if a vehicle is 700 cc, there is no way it can carry under the same category with a vehicle that is 1300 cc. Okay, we need two different categories for these two type of vehicles. To be honest, it used to be there, but they scrapped. Uber X used to accept the kind of the Honda Fit and the Demios, but they scrapped that and put together all these, which in my view, it does not make sense. There are people who don't subscribe to minimalism or to mediocrity or to small stuff. There are people who are like, even if it is for customers, I cannot buy a 700cc. I cannot buy a 650cc. You get my point? They are like me. If I'm buying a car, I am buying a good car, either for myself or the client. And we should give those kind of people room. So all this is what makes me say that taxi business does not make sense. I don't know what you think. Cheers for now.